morning. My name is Neil Bakiev. I'm your IELTS examiner. Could you please show me your identification card?
Yes, of course.
Okay. What's your full name?
My name is Yue Zhu.
Okay, so the examiner asks this question, what's your full name? It's better to say my full name is, and then you have to provide your first name and your surname.
Now, in the first section, I will be asking you some general questions about you, so please answer these questions as precisely as possible. Which part of your country do most people live in?
In my opinion, I think Beijing is the most part of my country is the most people live in.
Okay, it's better to say, in my opinion, Beijing is the most populated area of China, as most people live or reside there. Okay, now remember that you can't say in my opinion and I think at the same time, because they have the same meaning. Okay, so you have to choose either in my opinion or I think. Don't use them both at the same time. Next, you don't want to say the most part of my country. You want to say the most populated area of China. Okay, so populated, more populated, the most populated area. You need to use the superlative form here. Okay, and the examiner wants to know what country you are from, so make sure to indicate your country. So here, the most populated area of China. Next, you don't want to say the most people live there. You want to say most people. Why? Because you must use the most only when you create superlative forms of adjectives. For example, beautiful, more beautiful, the most beautiful. But most people means more than 50%. Okay, so use only most people. Don't use the most people. Let's move on.
Because it is the capital city of China.
Okay, so it's better to say as Beijing is the capital city of China. A vast number of people from rural areas travel there to look for jobs in large companies and pursue academic degrees at prestigious universities. Okay, so number one, your response is very short. You have to expand your response, make it larger. Okay, and here I'm using a special technique. I'm creating a cause and effect relationship by using S. S means because. So because Beijing is the capital city of China, so this is a cause. What is the result? The result is a vast number of people from rural areas travel there. You see that I'm trying to be very, very specific here. Okay, so a vast number of means a lot of people from where? From rural areas travel there. There in this case means Beijing. Okay, and then the examiner wants to know, but why? Why do they want to travel there? So you have to explain exactly. So you have to provide at least two reasons here by saying to look for jobs in large companies. So this is the first reason, and pursue academic degrees at prestigious universities. And then you provide the second reason. So what is the strategy? The strategy is create a cause and effect relationship. Okay, so because of something, then show the result, and then show the first reason and show the second reason. Good, now let's move on.
Tell me about the main industries there.
In my view, the main interest here is maybe maybe the duck factory, because there are a lot of ducks, Beijing ducks. in restaurant, I think.
Okay, first of all, let's focus on your pronunciation. Please listen and repeat after me. In my view, view, okay? In my view. And then here, industry, industry. And here, factory, factory. Okay, so pay attention to all of these keywords. Okay, next. It's better to say, in my view, the main industry in Beijing would be poultry. Okay, so here you're trying to guess, you're not really sure because you are not the expert in this area. So instead of saying is, it's better to say would be. Okay, next. Don't use maybe, because when you say maybe, you show that you are not certain, you are not sure, which means that you are not self-confident. You must sound self-confident when talking to the IELTS examiner. So you want to say would be, okay? You show a little bit doubt here, but still sounds really cool. Okay, so in my view, and it would be, and here use the word poultry. Okay, you don't want to say the duck factory, poultry. So when we're talking about birds, okay, in terms of meat production, you want to use the word poultry. Next. Therefore, there are a large number of duck processing factories which produce and provide high quality meat for local restaurants where customers tend to choose lots of duck dishes. Okay. So first of all, you have to choose one particular industry, in this case poultry, okay, and then you want to expand, you want to explain, you'll say therefore, which means that's why there are a large number of duck processing factories. So before we said poultry, now we're creating a very strong link. We say duck processing factories, which means factories which produce, which process ducks, okay, and then which produce and provide here high quality meat. Okay, again, we're trying to create a very strong link. So we have poultry, now we have duck, and now we have meat for local restaurants where customers tend to choose lots of duck dishes. Okay, so we're creating a very strong links here. So duck dishes, poultry, duck processing factories, meat. Okay, so we're talking about the same thing, and all of our sentences are well connected, and that's exactly what you need to do. Let's move on.
How easy is it to travel around your country?
I think we can take a high-speed train to travel around my country. It's very fast and it really saves your time to travel.
Okay, so number one, you don't want to say safe, you want to say saves, right? So I save, you save, he saves, she saves, it saves. So use s for he, she, it. So it's very, very important. Now let's just look at my response. Of multiple means of public transport available in China, I would say that most people tend to take high-speed trains to travel around the country for two reasons. Now, so here I mentioned that there are multiple means of public transport, different kinds of public transport available in China. Okay, again, I say that I am from China. Okay, so make sure to say this instead of saying my country. And then I would say that, again, you're trying to guess. So that's a very good way to say, I would say that most people, right? Not all people, okay, but always like most people tend to take high-speed trains to travel around the country here for two reasons, okay? And then you have to provide the first reason and then the second reason. Firstly, they are extremely fast as they travel at approximately 350 kilometers per hour. It's a very good example. We're very, very specific, okay? Secondly, traveling by train isn't as expensive as traveling by plane, and we provide the second reason. So what is the best strategy? The best strategy is, okay, we have to choose one particular kind of transport, okay, and then provide two reasons. Provide the first reason, provide the second reason, done. Let's move on. Let's listen to the next response.
Has your country changed much since you were a child?
Yes, I think so because when I was a child, there was not many cars or technology in here, but now we have a lot of advanced technology, and like for example, the road maybe more spaces.
Good. Now, number one, please focus on these keywords. Listen to me carefully and repeat after me. Technology, technology, technology. Next, spacious, spacious, spacious. Okay, so make sure to pronounce these words correctly. Now, let's look at my response. Yes, I think it has. Why? Because the question is, has your country changed? Okay, so pay attention to the auxiliary verb has. That's why the answer is yes, I think it has. When I was a child, there weren't as many cars on the road as there are now. Okay, so here I'm comparing the past situation with the present situation. So when I say, when I was a child, there weren't here as many cars on the road as there are now. As. So use this comparative comparison when comparing the situation which was in the past with the situation which is happening right now. And then you want to provide one more piece of information by saying, in addition to this, technology was not as developed in the past as it is these days. Okay, so here in your case, you just say technology, but the examiner wants to know what kind of technology are you talking about. So try to be more specific. And therefore we say that in addition to this, the technology was not as developed in the past as it is these days. Okay, so now we are making a very general statement, and now we want to be more specific. Next, while I can use a mobile phone with a lot of advanced functions, now I was unable to do so in my childhood, as such cellular phones were unavailable to, we can also say, out of reach of the general public. Okay, so here I mentioned something about technology, and here I'm trying to be very specific. I'm talking about a mobile phone. I say that it was not accessible in the past. Now it is accessible. Okay, and that's exactly what we are doing here. Okay, and then lastly, modern roads have become much wider than they used to be. Okay, so this is my last point. So try to create a strong linking devices in order to create coherence and cohesion in your sentences. So for example, here I say in addition to, and then next, and then also use the word lastly to indicate the last point. Good. That's all. Thank you very much for listening and analyzing all of these responses. I hope that you have learned some great techniques which will help you to maximize your IELTS band. Once again, if you want me to help you to improve your speaking skills, and if you want to maximize your band, you can use my website, which is IELTSformula1.com. I will also be listening to your responses, and then I will be recording my responses, okay? And then you will understand what to do in order to improve your speaking. Thank you very much.